if I told you the Justice League lost? Not to Darkseid, not to Brainiac, but to a virus. And not just any virus. One that turns your favorite heroes into rage-fueled zombies who can still fly, burn, and punch holes through planets. Yeah. Welcome to DCeased, where hope dies faster than Superman on Doomsday's cheat day.
Welcome back to Top Secret Inc., the comic book channel so covert, even Batman's files can't decrypt us. I'm your host, Thorne Bishop, and today we're digging into a series so brutal, so emotional, and so unexpectedly human. It might be the best DC event of the last decade. DCeased, Volume 1 by Tom Taylor, with art by Trevor Hairsine, Stefano Gaudiano, James Herron, and Rain Barreto. This isn't your average superhero slugfest. This is a gut-wrenching, apocalyptic opera that tears the heart out of the DC universe and forces its characters to face the one villain they can't punch. So if you're into undead chaos, emotional sucker punches, and watching Batman strategize his way into a corner, stick around. It all starts with a mistake and ends with a world on fire. DCeased. Volume 1 kicks off with Darkseid doing what he does best, messing with forces he barely understands. In a desperate bid to control the full anti-life equation, he fuses it with Cyborg's tech and a sliver of death itself via the Black Racer. That toxic combo creates a mutated version of anti-life. One that doesn't just control, it infects. And once that infection takes hold, it doesn't just dominate the mind, it destroys the body. Cyborg becomes ground zero, unknowingly carrying the virus back to Earth. Once Cyborg touches down, it spreads fast. The virus transmits through screens. Yes, screens. Which means phones, tablets, TVs, social media. All become weapons of mass infection. People watch, scroll, tap, and then rip each other apart. It doesn't take long before the chaos hits the big leagues. The Flash goes down. Green Lantern gets infected. Batman? He puts the puzzle together just in time to be too late. His last stand in the Batcave, against an infected Nightwing and Robin, is as tragic as it is brutal. It ends with Alfred doing the unthinkable to protect the world from what's left of the Wayne legacy. Meanwhile, the surviving heroes scramble. Superman, Wonder Woman, and the remnants of the Justice League try to contain the spread and protect civilians. But every screen is a death sentence. Cities fall, families crumble, Damian Wayne inherits the Batmantle under fire. Harley Quinn and Poison Ivy, of all people, become surprisingly grounded voices of survival. Black Canary, after a tragic loss, becomes a Green Lantern. It's a reshuffling of the deck where no one's playing with a full hand, and every win costs blood. The emotional core? Superman. He's the rock holding everyone together until he sees the infection touch his family. But even a god can't save everyone. In a final act of self-sacrifice, infected and losing control, Superman launches himself into space to prevent the virus from reaching the rest of the universe. It's a cosmic-level gut punch that leaves Earth leaderless and hopeless. DCeased, Volume 1 ends not with a bang, but with a haunting silence. The world is decimated. The heroes are broken, scattered, or dead. And the anti-life equation? Still out there, digital, unstoppable, and hungry. It's not just a zombie story, it's a war against the very tools we depend on, a battle between hope and inevitability. And in this first volume, hope loses.
Before we dive deeper into the mission, let's pull the files on the key players: heroes, villains, rogues, and wildcard operatives. This is the subject profiles. Batman, the strategist who failed, figures out the truth too late, meets a heartbreaking human end. Superman, the god in grief, humanity's last hope, until he becomes its greatest threat. Wonder Woman, the final shield. Warrior Queen holding the line even as the world collapses. Cyborg, Patient Zero, infected with the virus, unknowingly dooms Earth. Damian Wayne, the heir to the Bat, inherits Batman's legacy, forced to become a man too soon. Harley Quinn, the clown who survived. Wild, witty, and surprisingly grounded amidst the madness. Poison Ivy, the Green Guardian, protects life in a world obsessed with death. Green Arrow, the skeptic sniper, voice of humor and sharp realism. Underestimated and deadly. Black Canary, the Phoenix voice, rises from tragedy and becomes a lantern of light and hope. The Flash, Barry Allen, the fastest fatality. His speed becomes his doom and Earth's nightmare.
Tom Taylor excels at peeling back the hero masks to show people Superman is less a god and more a father, failing to protect his family. Batman goes down as he lives, methodically, but with love for his children. Damian Wayne has one of the best arcs, stepping up as a true Dark Knight, finally embracing empathy. Harley Quinn, surprisingly grounded. Her survival instincts and loyalty to Ivy make her one of the most relatable characters in this crisis. And let's not forget Green Arrow, who straight up mocks Batman's contingency plans. He brings humor and heart in a hopeless world. Tom Taylor doesn't waste a panel. Every moment pushes the story or tears your heart out. The dialogue is sharp, emotional, and raw. You feel the panic, the dread, the tiny flickers of hope. The art, brutal and detailed. Trevor Hairsine's rough line work gives the book a gritty, apocalyptic texture. Blood, emotion, and destruction are rendered with cinematic weight. The color palette is muted but effective. Grays and reds dominate, driving home the death and digital madness.
They told us not to ask questions. They said the files were corrupted, the intel classified, the case closed. But we kept digging. Welcome to Black Box Theories, where the facts don't add up, the coincidences aren't random, and the truth buried under layers of denial. Strap in, agent. You're not supposed to hear this. Theory number 1. Superman's infection is the genesis of a cosmic threat. Classification: highly speculative. Superman's infected exile into space may be the start of a new cosmic entity linked to the anti-life equation. Evidence found in Superman's final panels showing him hurtling through space, infected. The digital and supernatural nature of the virus itself. Fan speculation around cosmic horror themes in sequels. Theory number 2. Damian Wayne will become a darker, more ruthless Batman. Classification: moderate speculation. Damian's growth as Batman hints at a future where he embraces a more brutal vigilante role. Evidence found in Damian's leadership development under extreme duress, his familial ties to the League of Assassins and their darker philosophy, his willingness to make harsh decisions compared to Bruce. Theory 3. Poison Ivy's botanical sanctuary holds a potential cure. Classification: speculative. Ivy's immunity and flourishing garden may be the key to resistance or curing the infection. Evidence found in the stark contrast of her thriving plants amid widespread devastation. Ivy's natural immunity to toxins and viruses. The recurring theme of nature versus technology in the story. Theory 4. Alfred survives and holds a secret, rebuilding protocol. Classification: mild speculation. Alfred may have survived and is covertly orchestrating plans to rebuild Gotham or aid survivors. Evidence found in Alfred's history of contingency planning for the Bat family. Hints dropped about his fate being ambiguous or unresolved. The trope of Alfred as the hidden backbone of Batman's operations. Theory 5. Joker's absence. indicates possible immunity or hidden agenda. Classification: speculative. Joker's lack of presence during major infection events may mean he is immune or secretly manipulating events. Evidence found in his absence from infection scenes in Volume 1. Joker's historically unpredictable and cunning nature. Fan theories about Joker's immunity or survival twists.
This isn't just a zombie story, it's the end of the DC universe as we know it. Every safe haven crumbles, every satellite fails, every corner of the globe is infected. The tone? Hopeless but never empty. You keep reading because you need to know if someone survives, if there's a sliver of light in all this darkness. Let's talk a little about the themes within DCeased Volume 1. Digital dependency becomes weaponized, a commentary on how we're slaves to screens. Grief and legacy, who we are when everything is stripped away. Sacrifice, family, trust, these aren't just themes, they're the only things left. DCeased blends superhero lore with post-apocalyptic horror. It takes the zombie genre and flips it because these aren't slow walkers. These are super-powered corpses. Think The Walking Dead, but with Kryptonian nightmares. And in a world where pandemic fears are still fresh, this story hits harder than it did in 2000. Compared to Marvel's Marvel Zombies, DCeased is less tongue-in-cheek and more emotionally grounded. Where Marvel went for gore and dark comedy, Taylor goes for heartbreak and horror. It's closer to Injustice in tone, but with higher stakes and tighter pacing.
Some intel doesn't belong in the open. When a story gets too twisted, too dangerous, or just too damn weird, we file it under red. This is the Red Files, classified content, high-risk statistics, and the kind of secrets you don't unsee once exposed. Proceed with caution, Agent. Red File number 1. Anti-life equals online death. The virus only spreads via screens, a terrifying metaphor for screen addiction and social contagion. Red File number 2. Batman lasted 4 pages. The world's greatest detective is infected and killed by page 38 of the 192-page volume. Red File number 3. Green Arrow calls it. Oliver Queen mocks Batman for not having a contingency plan for him, foreshadowing his unexpected hero role. Red File number 4, Superman's final hug. John Kent hugs his father, infected and burning from the inside, without knowing it's goodbye. Red File number 5, Dinah vs. Hal. Black Canary kills Green Lantern Hal Jordan with a scream, and then inherits his ring.
All right, agents, intel has been gathered, dossiers reviewed, and it's time to declassify the best of the best. Welcome to the awards segment, where we spotlight the operatives, wildcards, and game-changing moments that made this mission unforgettable. Let's hand out some top-secret honors. The top operative award goes to Damian Wayne. The kid goes from angsty sidekick to a worthy successor. He doesn't just wear the cape, he earns it. The Dark Horse Award goes to Harley Quinn. In a world full of god-tier threats, Harley keeps her cool, protects Ivy, and never loses her humanity. The Spyglass Sequence Award goes to Batman's death. Hands down, watching him get infected, barricade himself in the Batcave, and die alone while sending his final message to his kids is pure storytelling heartbreak. Alright, let's talk final thoughts on DCeased Volume 1. This book comes out swinging and doesn't pull its punches. Its biggest strength? Emotional impact. Tom Taylor finds the human core of every superhero, then tears it out in the best, and sometimes most brutal, ways possible. The writing is tight, suspenseful, and surprisingly tender when it needs to be. The artwork by Trevor Hairsine and Stefano Gaudiano does a solid job capturing both scale and horror, from cosmic dread to intimate tragedy. Whether it's Superman breaking down or Harley Quinn finding closure, the emotional beats hit. Plus, the pacing? Impeccable. You barely get a second to breathe, which makes every pause feel earned. But this isn't a perfect book. The tone occasionally veers into shock value territory, like it's chasing that next OMG moment instead of letting a few scenes breathe. Some character deaths feel more like plot devices than fully earned narrative arcs, which can undercut the impact. And because it's juggling such a huge roster, a few major characters get sidelined or handled a bit too quickly. If you're new to the DC universe, you might not have the emotional context needed to feel the full weight of certain losses. This book expects you to come in with some knowledge of who's who, and how much they mean to the world they're about to lose. DCeased is tailor-made for readers who love the darker, apocalyptic takes on their favorite heroes. Think Injustice meets The Walking Dead. If you're into fast-paced, emotional disaster stories with superhero skin, this is your jam. As far as reread value goes, it's high. Once you've processed the initial shock, going back to see how everything was set up, who made the key decisions, and spotting character nuances you missed the first time is worth it. There's also a meta thrill in knowing who'll live, who won't, and watching how the survivors break or rise. Compared to other Elseworlds style stories like Kingdom Come or Dark Knights, Metal DCeased doesn't go for deep metaphors or intricate mythology. Instead, it delivers a sharp, emotional gut punch with a horror twist. It might not reach the philosophical depth of Watchmen, but that's not its goal. It's survival horror in a caped world, and Tom Taylor, already a master at writing alternate timelines, Injustice, Dark Ages, proves once again he can balance heart, horror, and high stakes like few others. If this is your first Tom Taylor book, prepare to go digging through his catalog after this. Bottom line, DCeased Volume 1 earns a strong 8.5 out of 10. It's intense, fast, and emotional. It's not flawless, but it delivers exactly what it promises. Superhero tragedy on a global scale. I'd absolutely recommend it to any DC fan who wants something fresh, bleak, and real. It has legs for sequels, and the world is rich enough to explore from multiple angles, which, spoiler alert, they totally do. So if you've been on the fence about it, consider this your green light. Just don't get too attached to anyone. If this blew your mind even halfway as much as it blew mine, hit that like button like Green Arrow hitting a headshot. Drop a comment below. Who would you want leading the resistance in a zombie apocalypse? And don't forget to subscribe to Top Secret Inc. because here, we don't just read comics. We dig up the ones everyone else is afraid to open.